He risked his career to aid a fallen alien elder, and the galaxy changed forever. The fall in the dust, the great starport of Archeon Prime, was never silent, never calm, never kind. It was a place where hundreds of alien races moved in a rush, their voices mixing like thunder in the air. The sound of engines, trade calls, and security warnings filled every corner. Captain Ryan Hale walked across the wide landing platform, his boots echoing against the polished steel floor. He had just returned from a mission that went well enough, and in his mind he was already thinking of the report he would give his commander. His life was strict, disciplined, and built on rules. He always believed in following the chain of command, in never stepping out of line. But fate had something else waiting for him that day. Through the busy flow of aliens, Ryan noticed something unusual. A figure stumbled, then collapsed in the middle of the walkway. The crowd parted quickly, but not out of kindness. They moved away as if the fallen figure carried disease or curse. No one bent to help, no one even slowed down. Ryan narrowed his eyes. The figure on the ground was old, very old. His skin was rough, pale gray with deep cracks. His robes were torn, and his breathing came out in heavy rattles. The alien was clearly weak, near death. Yet the others only hissed or whispered, turning their faces away. A security officer nearby saw the fallen elder, looked at him with disgust, then deliberately turned his back. That told Ryan everything. This was not just any alien. This was someone hated, someone forbidden. Ryan felt a chill. He recognized the species. The elder was from the Ver, an ancient race once proud but now cast out by the Galactic Council. The Council had branded them dangerous liars and criminals generations ago. To help a Ver was to invite punishment. To touch one was considered a crime in many systems. Still, the old alien lifted his hand weakly. His fingers trembled as if begging for a single act of mercy. His voice was almost gone, but Ryan thought he heard a whisper. "Help. Please." Ryan froze. He could feel eyes on him. Dozens of aliens had stopped to watch, not with compassion but with curiosity. They wanted to see if the human officer would dare. Inside Ryan's mind, a storm began. He knew the rules. If he walked away, no one would question him. If he stepped forward, he risked everything. His rank, his honor, his future. His heart pounded in his chest. The memory of his father's words came back to him. Kindness is the only rule that never betrays you. Ryan knelt down. His hand touched the elder's shoulder. The moment was like fire through the crowd. Shock spread. Whispers turned into gasps. A human officer helping a Ver. It was unthinkable. "Stand down, Captain," a sharp voice barked. Ryan looked up. His commander, Major Varen, stood at the edge of the crowd, his face twisted with fury. "Leave that creature. Do you want your career destroyed?" Ryan's mouth went dry, but his grip on the elder's arm tightened. He lifted the frail body slowly, feeling how light, how fragile the alien was. His robes smelled of dust and age. The elder's eyes opened, just a little, glowing faintly like dying embers. His cracked lips moved, and Ryan leaned closer to hear. "They hide the truth. The Council. Lies." Ryan's breath caught. The words made no sense, or maybe they made too much sense. He looked around and saw security officers pulling out scanners, already recording his every move, already marking. "Him is guilty, Captain Hale," Major Varen shouted, his voice full of command. "Drop that thing and step away. This is your final order." Ryan stared at his commander, at the crowd, at the weak elder in his arms. He felt the weight of choice pressing against his chest. He could obey, save his career, and live as if this moment never happened. Or he could defy the order, stand by, a dying alien stranger, and fall into ruin. The elder coughed, his voice trembling like a broken string. "Please." "Not much time." Ryan made his choice. He slid his arm under the alien's shoulder and helped him stand. Slowly, painfully, he began to guide him toward the medical wing. Every step felt heavier. Every eye in the crowd burned like fire on his back. The whispers turned into shouts now. Some shouted for security to stop him, some shouted in disbelief, and others simply recorded, eager to see a scandal spread across the stars. Major Varen's voice thundered through the comm system. "Hail! You are finished." "Do you hear me? You are finished." Ryan did not answer. His face was calm, but inside his stomach twisted with fear. He knew he was crossing a line no one returned from, but he also knew he could not let the elder die there in the dust, forgotten and despised. The alien leaned against him, barely able to move, yet his fingers clung to Ryan's uniform as if holding on to life itself. His whisper came again, weaker, but clear enough to freeze Ryan's blood. "Truth must live." The words echoed inside Ryan like a warning and a promise. He did not know what truth the alien carried. He did not know why the Council hated his kind so deeply, but he knew this. The galaxy had just shifted, and nothing would ever be the same again. And as the starport lights shone down on him, Captain Ryan Hale walked forward, carrying not just an alien elder, but the weight of a choice that would change everything. The Forbidden Rescue. The medical wing of Archeon Prime was never meant to be quiet, but at that moment it felt like a place stolen from time. The automatic doors slid open with a hiss, and Ryan guided the frail elder inside. His arms trembled under the alien's weight. Every step echoed like a countdown to disaster. The medics inside looked up. Their eyes widened when they saw who Ryan carried. The silence in the room was sharper than any blade. Then one medic, a tall reptilian nurse, snapped in anger. "You cannot bring that here." "He is forbidden." Ryan's jaw tightened. "He's dying. He needs help." His voice carried the authority of a soldier, but the fear in the nurse's eyes was stronger than any order. Two more medics stepped back, shaking their heads. One even crossed his arms and turned away, refusing to look. It was as if the elder's presence poisoned the air. Ryan had no choice. He lifted the elder onto a bed himself. The elder groaned, his chest rising and falling in uneven bursts. Ryan grabbed the med scanner and ran it across the frail body. The results flashed on the screen: organ failure, blood loss, and severe dehydration. The old alien had hours at most, maybe less. The door slammed open. Major Varen stormed inside with two security guards. His face was red with fury. His hand hovered over his sidearm. "Hail!" His voice shook the walls. "You dare disobey a direct order? Step away now." Ryan stood still, sweat dripping down his neck. He wanted to salute, to obey, to save his career. But then the elder's weak hand reached out and touched his wrist. His skin was cold, trembling, yet the grip had meaning. "Don't leave," the elder whispered. His words were broken, but his eyes burned with desperate fire. Varen spat. "This creature is nothing. The Council condemned them. Do you think you know better than the law?" Ryan swallowed hard, his throat dry. His voice came steady, though. "Sir, he is alive, and he is in my care. I cannot let him die like garbage on the floor." The guard stepped forward, weapons ready. Ryan knew one more word from Varen, and they would drag him away. But before the order came, the elder coughed violently, a sound like gravel breaking apart. He forced words through his broken lungs. "They will kill him, too, if he leaves me now." The guards froze, their faces unreadable. But Ryan felt the weight of those words. This elder carried something larger, something deadly. "Enough!" Varen roared. "Arrest him, both of them." Ryan's instincts took over. His training screamed against it, but his heart made the choice. He grabbed the medical injector from the tray, jammed it into the elder's arm, and pumped in stabilizing fluids. The alien gasped. His eyes fluttered, and color returned faintly to his cracked skin. At that same second, Ryan moved. His fist struck the nearest guard in the chest, sending him stumbling. He pulled the elder off the bed, supporting his weight, and pushed through the far emergency door. The alarms howled. Red lights flashed along the corridor. Automated voices warned of security breach in the medical bay. Ryan's boots thundered against the metal floor. He dragged the elder through twisting corridors, searching for a path out. Behind him, shouts and heavy boots followed. The elder's breathing was shallow, but his voice pressed on. "Captain, they fear the truth." "Not me." Ryan gritted his teeth. "Then you need to stay alive long enough to tell me." They slipped into the maintenance tunnels, Dark, narrow passages where only engineers went. Ryan slammed the access door shut. Behind him, his heart pounded like a drum. For a moment, silence, just Ryan's harsh breathing and the faint rasp of the elder. Then the old alien whispered something that made Ryan freeze. "There is a mark hidden on me, a key to everything." Ryan turned, pulling a dim light. From his belt, the elder lifted his trembling arm. Slowly, he pulled back the sleeve of his ragged robe. Etched into the skin of his forearm was a faint, glowing mark. It looked almost burned into his flesh, shaped like an ancient symbol Ryan had never seen. When Ryan scanned it with his wrist device, the screen flickered, then locked, then hissed as forbidden files tried to load. A warning flashed. Access restricted. Council secrets. Ryan's stomach dropped. His eyes darted to the elder. "What is this?" The elder's voice came weak but clear. "The truth of what they did. Long ago, they erased history, but not all. I carried what survived." Footsteps pounded on the other side of the tunnel door. The security team was close. The elder gripped Ryan's arm with surprising strength. "They will kill you now, Captain. You have chosen the path already." Ryan looked at the door, then at the elder. Sweat ran down his face. He had crossed the line the moment he touched this alien in the dust. There was no turning back. He adjusted his grip and began moving deeper into the tunnels, the sound of alarms fading behind them. "Then we keep moving," he said firmly. "If they want me guilty, I'll make sure it's for the right reason." The elder leaned on him, whispering, "One act of mercy can light a fire in the dark." Ryan didn't know what destiny lay ahead, but he felt it heavy in his chest. The galaxy had changed the moment he picked the elder off the ground, and now, there was no way back. The secret mark, the tunnels stretched, like veins beneath HFY Prime, dim lights flickering, the air thick with dust and old oil. Ryan half carried the elder, his arms strong around the frail body. Every sound echoed. The drip of water, the hum of power lines, the faint thud of boots somewhere behind them. Ryan's heart raced, but his mind kept circling back to the strange mark glowing on the elder's skin. He had seen battle wounds, ritual scars, and even coded tattoos used by smugglers, but this was different. The glow wasn't just light, it felt alive. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. The elder whispered, his voice thin yet determined. "The mark is not mine alone. It belongs unto all my people. It carries the memory of what was stolen." Ryan adjusted his grip and kept walking. "You need to tell me what that means, old one. Why would the council erase your history?" The elder coughed, every breath painful, his eyes glimmered with sadness. "Because the truth would break their throne. They built power on ashes. They hid their crimes in shadows, but some of us carried the truth in our very flesh." Ryan's mind swirled. He had served the council for years, trained under their laws, believed their speeches. But if what this alien said was true, then everything, the peace, the unity, the order, was built on lies. The tunnel ahead opened into a wider chamber, pipes crossing overhead, old crates stacked in corners. Ryan lowered the elder onto a crate so he could catch his breath. "Show me," Ryan said firmly. "What exactly is hidden in that mark?" The elder lifted his arm again, the glowing symbol flickering as if responding to Ryan's presence. Ryan raised his wrist device and scanned. The screen struggled, lines of red warnings filling it. Then suddenly it cracked open, an ancient data stream forcing its way in. Symbols appeared, not human, not alien, but something older. Then images, fleets burning, planets scarred, millions enslaved. Ryan's breath caught. These were not just stories. They were records. One message flashed across the device in broken translation. The Veer stood with humans once, until betrayal. Ryan staggered back. The word human struck him like a blade. His own kind was in this history, not as heroes, but as forgotten allies, wiped away. The elder's voice was heavy. They used us. Then they erased us. And they told the galaxy we were monsters. That is why I lay in the dust, despised by all. That is why your choice matters. Ryan felt cold all over, His loyalty, his career, his faith in the council, it was cracking apart. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why did you call to me in the crowd?" The elder smiled faintly, though his lips were cracked. "Because you stopped. You looked with eyes of mercy. Not fear. You are proof that humans can still choose truth." Before Ryan could answer, the sound of boots thundered through the tunnels. The council's security had tracked them. Ryan cursed under his breath. He pulled the elder back to his feet. "Time's up," Ryan muttered. "We move." They hurried through the chamber, slipping into another narrow passage. The elder leaned heavily, each step a battle, behind them. Flashlights pierced the shadows. Voices barked orders. Ryan reached a junction and ducked into a maintenance shaft, pulling the elder close. They crouched in silence, listening as guards stormed past. The elder's trembling hand pressed against Ryan's chest. "You must carry it now. If I die, the mark will pass to you." Ryan blinked. "What are you talking about?" The elder's eyes locked onto his. "The truth cannot die with me. The mark will burn onto your flesh. The records will live in you, and the council will hunt you. Until the end." Ryan shook his head, fear clawing his stomach. He never wanted to be a traitor, never wanted to be hunted. But in that moment, he realized he was already marked, not by a symbol, but by his choice. The elder's strength faltered, and he sagged. Ryan caught him, panic flashing in his chest. "Stay with me, you can't give up now." The elder's eyes closed for a moment, then opened weakly. "I have carried this truth for a lifetime, but perhaps you will carry it further." Suddenly the shaft lights flickered. A metallic clang echoed nearby. The guards were returning. Ryan lifted the elder once again, his muscles burning. He pushed through another door, stumbling into an old hangar deep. Under the starport, dust-covered ships sat in silence, abandoned for decades. Ryan's eyes darted over them until he spotted a small transport that looked barely functional. "It'll have to do," he muttered, dragging the elder inside. He dropped into the pilot's seat, fingers flying over ancient controls. The ship groaned, coughed, then roared to life. Lights flickered as power surged through dead systems. The elder coughed again, his voice fading. "They will not stop, Ryan. You must protect the truth, even if the galaxy calls you traitor." Outside, the hangar doors slammed open. Security poured in, weapons raised. Ryan's jaw tightened. He slammed the throttle, and the ship lifted, dust exploding across the floor. Blaster fire rained against the hull as the vessel shot forward, smashing through the barrier into open space. Stars spread before them, endless and silent. Ryan gripped the controls with white knuckles. His career was over, his life as he knew it, gone. But as he glanced at the fading elder and the glowing mark, he knew something greater had begun. The elder whispered one last time before collapsing into silence. "The truth must live." Ryan's eyes hardened. The mark burned faintly on the elder's arm, glowing in rhythm with the hum of the ship, and Ryan realized with dread and determination, whether he wanted it or not, he was now carrying the most dangerous secret in the galaxy, the chase through the stars. The stolen transport shuddered as it broke through the thick atmosphere of Archeon Prime. The old engines screamed, leaving behind trails of fire as the ship struggled into the void. Ryan gripped the controls tightly, sweat dripping down his brow. He wasn't a smuggler, not a thief, but now he was flying like one. The elder, Zoran, lay strapped into a crash seat behind him. His chest rose and fell shallowly, his eyes half closed. The faint glow of the mark pulsed like a heartbeat, casting eerie light on the walls of the cabin. Ryan's comm system suddenly crackled. A cold, official voice filled the cockpit. "Captain Ryan Hale, you are charged with treason. You are ordered to surrender immediately. Power down your vessel and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your destruction." Ryan's hands tightened. His career, his honor, even his family's name. It was all on fire now. He had no way back. "They already branded me a traitor," he muttered. "Might as well earn the title." Through the viewport, bright lights flared. 2 council warships broke from orbit and turned toward him, Sleek, massive, armored like predators. They dwarfed his stolen craft, their engines roaring like thunder across the stars, Ryan, Soren whispered, his voice weak but urgent. They cannot capture the mark. If they do, the truth dies. Ryan nodded grimly. Then we run. He slammed the throttle. The transport leapt forward, engines howling. The warships responded instantly, chasing him like wolves after prey. Warning shots lit up the darkness, beams of energy streaking past, shaking his little ship. The cockpit rattled violently, alarms blaring. The navigation system screamed. Danger. Pursuit locked. Ryan pulled the controls hard. The transport swerved between drifting cargo freighters and debris fields. His eyes sharp, his reflexes fast. He pushed the vessel beyond its limit. Sparks flew from panels, warning lights flashing red. Joran groaned, clutching his chest. They will destroy you, Ryan, unless you find the shadows. Ryan glanced back. Shadows? The elder pointed weakly at the star map flickering on the console. His trembling finger landed on a region marked with danger signs. Sector 9. The grave field. A stretch of space, filled with shattered wrecks from old wars. Go there, they fear what hides inside. Ryan gritted his teeth. It was suicide to fly into that wreck field. Thousands of broken ships floated there, colliding like drifting tombstones. But it was the only chance. He turned the vessel sharply, engines flaring, heading straight toward the grave field. The warships gave chase, firing again. A blast grazed the hull, sending the transport spinning for a moment before Ryan regained control. He cursed under his breath. Hold together, old girl, just a little longer. The grave field appeared in the viewport. A monstrous graveyard of steel and shadow. Vast skeletons of battleships drifted silently, their hulls torn open, their weapons long dead. Some were alien designs Ryan had never seen, ancient and terrifying. The council ships slowed at the edge, their commanders cautious. The grave field was notorious for swallowing vessels whole. Ryan didn't slow. He plunged straight into the field, weaving between giant hulks, scraping past twisted beams and shattered engines. The transport groaned, metal screaming as it squeezed between debris. Behind him, the warships fired again, but their shots went wild. Many beams slammed into the drifting wrecks, triggering explosions that echoed across the graveyard. Ryan darted deeper, using the chaos to vanish. The cockpit dimmed as shadows from the hulks covered the ship. Ryan's hands trembled, sweat dripping. His eyes darted from panel to panel, trying to keep the ship alive. Why would they fear this place? Ryan asked through clenched teeth. Joran's eyes flickered open, his voice a whisper. Because the dead ships still speak. The records here were never erased. The council cannot bury what floats in silence. Ryan glanced out the viewport, his stomach tight. For a moment he swore he saw faint lights blinking across one of the wrecks, like a system that refused to die. His ship's sensors flickered too, strange signals pushing against them. Then the comm system hissed again, not with the council's voice, but something older, fragmented. Survivors, betrayed, truth will not die. Ryan's blood ran cold. The elder gave a weak smile. Do you see, Captain? The graveyard remembers. The council warships hesitated at the edge, their commanders refusing to risk their massive ships in the deadly maze. But smaller pursuit craft launched, darting into the wreck field. Ryan swore under his breath, pulling the controls hard. His ship dove under a massive battlecruiser hull, broken open like a corpse. The smaller craft fired, energy bolts ripping. Past one struck his port side, sending alarms screaming. Joran coughed violently. Ryan, you must escape. The truth must live. Even if I don't. Ryan shook his head fiercely. Don't say that. I didn't throw away everything just to lose you now. The small craft closed in, weapons locking. Ryan's eyes narrowed. He saw ahead a narrow gap between two broken dreadnoughts barely wide enough for his ship. He slammed the engines. The transport screamed forward, scraping metal as it squeezed through. Sparks exploded across the cockpit, but they made it. The pursuing craft weren't so lucky. Two smashed into wreckage, exploding in fire. One made it through, still chasing. Ryan slammed his hand against the controls, pushing the old engines to their limits. His eyes locked on a faint glimmer ahead. an opening at the far edge of the grave field. If he could reach it, they might. Slip free, the elder's faint voice reached him. If you survive, you must share what you saw. Promise me, Ryan. Ryan's jaw tightened, his voice firm. I promise, old one, I'll see it through. Whatever it takes. The last pursuit craft fired again, blasts tearing across his ship's flank. The transport shook violently, smoke filling the cockpit. Ryan coughed, his vision blurring. He forced the ship forward, heart pounding. With a final burst of speed, the transport shot through the last barrier of wrecks, breaking free into open space. The grave field fell behind them, silent and endless. The lone pursuit craft hesitated, then turned back, unwilling to follow further. Ryan slumped against the seat, his body shaking. The elder lay weak but alive, the mark glowing faintly. For now, they were safe. But the galaxy knew his name as traitor, and the warships at the edge of the grave field were not finished. Ryan stared out at the stars, his chest heavy with dread and determination. The chase isn't over, he whispered. It's only just begun. The elder's story. The stars stretched endless and cold outside the viewport. The transport ship floated quietly now, hidden in the shadow of a drifting asteroid near the grave field. Its engines hummed softly, patched with emergency repairs Ryan had forced together with shaking hands. Inside, the air was heavy with smoke and the metallic scent of burnt circuits. Ryan sat beside the elder, his uniform torn and smeared with ash. His chest rose and fell in slow, steady breaths, but his mind churned with a storm of questions. Joran, the alien elder, lay weakly on the seat. His gray skin looked thinner, almost translucent, yet the glowing mark on his arm pulsed with steady rhythm like a beating heart refusing to die. Ryan leaned forward, his voice low but firm. You said the Council erased your history. You said humans were part of it. I need to know everything. Now no more fragments, no more whispers. If I'm risking my life for this, I need to understand. The elder's eyes opened slowly. His gaze was tired but sharp, carrying the weight of centuries. He coughed, and his voice came soft. Very well, Captain. Listen, and remember, for once the story is spoken, it cannot be taken back. Ryan nodded, his jaw tight. His hand hovered near the controls, not for flying, but for recording. He pressed a button, his wrist device beginning to capture the words, Joran's. Voice trembled, but his story flowed. Long ago, before the Council rose, before the empires carved the stars, there were only alliances, fragile and shifting. My people, the Ver, were strong in knowledge. We guarded the archives of the galaxy. We recorded truth as it was without bending it to power. Ryan frowned. Archivists? Joran nodded faintly. Yes, guardians of memory. And in those days, humans were newcomers to the stars, young, reckless, but burning with spirit. The Council of that age feared them, feared what humanity might become. So they courted the Ver, promised peace, asked us to guide humanity to help them rise without chaos. He paused, breathing heavily. Ryan adjusted the medical band around his chest, keeping fluid steady. And you agreed? The elder's eyes glimmered with sorrow. Yes, we saw in humans something rare, a refusal to bow, a hunger for justice. For a time, the alliance was strong. Humans and Ver stood together, and the galaxy balanced on hope. Ryan leaned closer, his heart racing. What happened? The elder's voice darkened. The Council betrayed us both. They feared humanity's strength. They feared our records. So they struck in secret. They spread lies. They twisted evidence. They painted the Ver as deceivers, manipulators. Then, with whispers of fear, they convinced the galaxy to turn against us. He closed his eyes, pain clear on his face. Entire fleets burned. Our people scattered, hunted, enslaved. And those who survived carried the mark, etched into our flesh, holding fragments of truth. The Council erased our records, but not our living memory. Ryan sat frozen, his hands clenched, his mind screamed with denial. Yet the images he saw earlier in the data matched the elder's words. The betrayal, the burning fleets, humanity's role buried in silence, and humanity, Ryan asked, his throat tight. What did they do? The elder's voice was heavy. Your kind was broken too. Those who stood with us were silenced, erased from records. But the council spared the rest, rewrote your history, made you believe you rose by their mercy, not by your courage. They chained your legacy without chains you could see. Ryan's chest tightened. His life as a soldier, his loyalty, every medal he earned, it all felt like ash. So all of it, everything I served for, was built on lies. Joran's hand trembled as it reached for Ryan's. His touch was weak but steady. Not lies, Captain, choices. You chose to kneel in the dust when no one else would. That is truth. That is courage. Humanity still carries it, even if the council buried it. Ryan looked down at the elder, his heart torn. The old alien's words burned like fire in his chest, part pain, part hope. But before Ryan could speak again, the comm system beeped. A broadcast forced its way in. The council's voice echoed, cold and merciless. Attention, all systems. Captain Ryan Hale is guilty of high treason. He has aided a condemned enemy of the galaxy. His capture is a priority of the highest order. Citizens who report him will be rewarded. Those who shelter him will share his punishment. Ryan's blood ran cold. His face appeared on the screen. His name cursed across the stars. He was no longer a soldier, he was a hunted criminal. Joran coughed, his body shaking, but his voice pushed through. Do you see now? They fear truth more than any weapon. That is why you must live, Ryan, even if I do not. Ryan shook his head fiercely. No, you're not dying here. Not while I still breathe. You carried this for a lifetime. You won't fall before me. Joran gave a weak smile, almost peaceful. Then promise me, promise you will carry the mark. If I fall, it must live in you. Ryan hesitated, his throat tight. The thought of taking the mark, of carrying the secret that had cursed an entire race, made his skin crawl. But the elder's eyes held no fear, only faith. Finally, Ryan nodded. I promise I'll carry it, whatever it takes. The elder's breath eased. His head leaned back, his voice faint as a whisper. Then perhaps the galaxy still has hope. Outside, stars shimmered like cold witnesses. The grave field floated silent behind them, and ahead, the galaxy spread wide. Ryan stared out at the void, his hands clenched. He was hunted, branded, hated. But inside, a fire burned stronger. He had chosen truth over comfort, and now he carried a promise too heavy for one man. But he would not turn back. Not now, not ever. Trial of truth. The void outside stretched endlessly, cold and indifferent. Ryan's ship moved silently, weaving through asteroid debris like a shadow. The Council's bounty hunters were everywhere, their vessels gleaming with deadly precision. Their scanners combed the stars, hungry for a trace of his signal. Inside the cockpit, Ryan's hands trembled slightly, but his eyes burned with resolve. Zoran had grown weaker over the past hours, the elder's breaths shallow and uneven. The archives in his possession glowed faintly, tiny shards of light that held secrets the galaxy had long forgotten. Ryan spoke softly, almost to himself. I can't just hide anymore. I can't let them bury the truth. I risk my life, I risk my career, maybe even my soul. But I will not be silent, not after all they've done. The elder's eyes flickered open, a faint smile on his lips. Then the choice is yours, Ryan Hale. The Council has made its laws, but laws are only chains. Chains can break. Ryan's jaw tightened. He had memorized every coordinate, every loophole, every system that could amplify their message. But even with that knowledge, broadcasting Zoran's story would mean open defiance, a declaration of war against the most powerful authorities in the galaxy. The ship's sensors beeped urgently, a faint pulse in the distance. Ryan's pulse quickened. They're tracking me, he muttered. The hunters are near. Zoran coughed weakly, reaching for Ryan's hand. Do not fear, Captain. Fear is what they feed on. Courage is what will break them. Ryan nodded, his fingers brushing the elder's. I will Show them courage. He maneuvered the ship toward the neutral belt, a region between star systems where communications were unregulated, a place the Council could not easily silence. The moment of transmission would come soon, he knew. Hours passed with tense silence, the hum of the ship's engines filling the void. Ryan checked the archive one more time, the holographic interface flickering with images of burned Vare fleets, of hidden human heroes, of the Council's lies etched into history. He pressed a button, the data streaming to the galaxy's information network, encrypted, hidden in a signal that could not be traced. And then he paused, a cold wave of doubt washing over him. What if it failed? What if the Council destroyed him before anyone could see the truth? Joran's weak voice cut through the tension. Trust in them, Ryan. Trust in humanity. Even when the galaxy has forgotten it. Even when the stars themselves lie. Ryan drew a deep breath and pressed the final key. Initiating the broadcast, the archive spread like wildfire. Images flashing across every station, every network, every vessel tuned to the signal. The Council's propaganda began to falter as truths, long buried, rose to the surface. For a moment, silence engulfed the universe, then outrage, disbelief, whispers of revolt. Some stations attempted to shut down the signal, but it had already spread too far. Too many eyes had seen the Vare's story. Too many hearts had felt the courage of humans and aliens standing together. Ryan's communicator beeped violently. A Council enforcer appeared on screen, face cold and harsh. Ryan Hale, you are under arrest for treason, aiding a condemned alien, broadcasting false histories. You will submit or face execution. Ryan's fingers tightened on the controls. I already submitted, not to you, but to the truth, he said firmly, his voice resonating with unwavering conviction. The enforcer sneered. Truth? You are a fool. Your defiance will cost countless lives. Ryan's eyes narrowed. No. Silence will cost countless lives. I chose action. I chose courage. If you kill me, the story still lives. Because once the truth is known, it cannot be erased. The enforcer's face darkened, but the broadcast continued. The galaxy watched in awe as images of hidden wars, of Vare suffering, of human bravery unfolded. Ships paused mid-flight. News hubs trembled. Senators whispered in panic. Citizens felt the weight of lies that had ruled their worlds. Joran coughed, again, but his hand squeezed Ryan's. You did it. You carried the mark, he whispered, a tear glinting on his cheek. Ryan looked at the elder, determination burning brighter than fear. We did it, together. Suddenly, the enforcer fired a pulse through the comm network, attempting to disable the ship's systems. Alarms blared, lights flickered. But Ryan acted fast, diverting power, dodging the enforcer's attack. His hands moved like lightning, the ship twisting, turning, a dance of life and death. The transmission continued, uninterrupted, reaching thousands of systems, millions of beings, and for the first time in centuries, the Council's perfect lies were cracking. Emiya, galaxy seeing cracks in the mirror of truth they had been shown. Joran whispered. They see. They finally see. His breath was shallow, his strength fading, but his eyes shone with hope. Ryan steadied himself. I'll keep you alive, Elder. I swear it. But even as he spoke, the enforcer's ship surrounded them, vast and menacing, a wall of steel and fire in the void. Surrender now, or die where you stand. Ryan's gaze hardened. He clenched his fists. Then let them try, he muttered. Let them try, but the truth will not die. Outside, the stars watched silently, cold and indifferent. But inside, a spark of rebellion ignited. The story of courage, of defiance, of humans risking everything for justice, had begun to burn across the galaxy, and Ryan Hale, hunted, wanted, alone, had just started a war for truth. The dawn of change. The galaxy trembled in silence, Ryan's ship drifting through the dark void, surrounded by enemies yet untouched. The broadcast he had sent pulsed through every star system, a spark that could not be contained. Across countless worlds, beings paused, watched and listened. The lies of the Council shattered under the weight of truth. Joran rested weakly on the floor of the cockpit, his breath shallow, but his eyes held pride. "It is done, Ryan. The first step has been taken," he whispered, voice fading like the last light of a dying star. Ryan stared at the stars outside, the endless black broken by tiny pinpricks of light. "The first step, yes, but the fight is just beginning," he murmured, his heart heavy yet full. Every planet, every fleet, every city that had once believed the Council's lies now questioned everything. Across the galaxy, alarms blared in government stations. The Council's spokesman scrambled, attempting to justify centuries of deceit. But each lie they told only reinforced the power of Ryan's broadcast. Citizens argued openly, fleets mutinied, and even the Council's own officers began to hesitate. Unsure of who they truly served, a message came through the ship's communicator, shaky but alive. "Ryan Hale, your defiance. It has inspired hope," said the voice of a young Vare commander, her vessel hidden in the neutral belt. "We are joining you. We will not allow the lies to continue." Ryan smiled faintly, relief mixing with tension. "Tell them. Tell every fleet. Every station. The truth will guide them," he said, his voice firm, carrying determination stronger than any weapon. Joran coughed, a wet sound, but he tried to sit upright. "And what of the Council?" he asked, eyes dim but alert. "Will they fall completely?" Ryan looked at him, heart aching at the elder's weakness. "They will try to resist, they will cling to power, but the truth is stronger than fear, stronger than threats. The galaxy will see, and those who stand with lies will crumble." Outside, the Council's enforcers closed in, their ships forming an iron wall, threatening, merciless. But Ryan did not panic. He had one last move, one final act that could turn fear into freedom. He activated the ship's long-range communicator, sending a direct signal to every Council-controlled station. "To all who hear, the Council has hidden history, lied, to you, oppressed you, but no more. The Vare are not your enemies, humans are not your fools, the truth must guide us all." Across the systems, the signal reverberated like thunder. The citizens listened, fleets paused, hesitation spreading faster than fire. The enforcers faltered, their programming clashing with conscience. Many of them lowered, their weapons confused, unsure. Ryan gritted his teeth. "Now," he said, "we finish this." With Zoran's weak help, Ryan released the archives into every unencrypted network, every public database, every hidden secret of the Council, every act of courage by humans and aliens alike, every injustice, every hidden victory, every suppressed story flashed across, screens lighting up the galaxy like a million suns. For a moment there was chaos, confusion, arguments, but slowly clarity began to spread. People began to see, truly see, the galaxy had been lied to, but now it could choose its path. The Council's leaders screamed in their chambers, but their words fell on deaf ears. The fleets mutinied, ships turned away, senators resigned, and citizens poured into the streets of their cities, demanding accountability, demanding change. Ryan and Zoran watched from their small ship, hidden among asteroids. "It is happening," Ryan said softly. "The galaxy is waking up." Zoran smiled faintly, a tear sliding down his cheek. You have done more than I could hope for, Ryan Hale. The Vare will remember this. Humanity will be honored." Ryan placed a hand on the elder's shoulder, steadying him. "We did it together, Elder. Every act of courage, every risk, every truth led here." The enforcers who had followed them now began to defect, one by one, surrendering to the undeniable truth. Ryan's signal had pierced their minds, shaken their loyalty, and even the Council itself trembled, powerless against the flood of honesty from planet to planet, ships to stations. Whispers became voices, voices became shouts, and shouts became demands. The galaxy demanded freedom, justice, and transparency. The Council's iron grip weakened, cracking with every second. In the cockpit, Ryan looked at Zoran, the Elder's breathing slowing, but peaceful now. "Rest. Elder, your fight is done. The galaxy will carry on." Zoran's eyes closed, a faint smile lingering. "And so, hope, lives," he murmured. Ryan set the ship on a course back to human space, his heart lighter but wary. The galaxy was changing, freedom spreading like wildfire, but the path ahead was uncertain. Battles would come, challenges would rise, yet for the first time humans and Ver alike would stand together, guided by truth and courage. As the stars stretched endlessly around them, Ryan whispered, "This is only the beginning. The dawn of change has come." And somewhere across the infinite void, the galaxy began to awaken, not with fear but with hope. Courage had spoken, truth had triumphed, and a single human had risked everything to ensure that the stars would never again be silent. The council would fall, the lies would crumble, and a new era, born of courage, empathy, and truth, would rise among the stars. And Ryan Hale, the man who had risked everything for an alien elder, watched the galaxy change forever, knowing that sometimes one act of courage could ignite the hearts of millions, and even the darkest void could light up with hope.